In this video, we're going to look at how to write a basic research question. So first off, why do we need a research question? Well, we need a research question because if we just jump into research and then begin to try to prepare for our paper, we'll be lost in the ocean of information. There's so much data out there, so many sources that it will be overwhelming and we won't know where to begin. Now, there's still a lot of things we don't know because the ocean is vast and the area that we've charted is only a small amount. So you need to have a research question to help narrow down our search to just information that we need or that we want. So if you already have a narrow statement for research, that's good, your topic, but forming it into a question will help you identify even more specific areas that you need to look for, that you don't know about. And all you need to do is make sure you find information that answers those questions. So how do we start? First off, the first level of questioning, start with the basic journalistic questions of who, what, when, where. All right, so those are basic ones, but there's two basic ones that are golden that will be very useful for your research project, and that's the how and the why. So those are the first layer of questions that you can ask yourself as you're looking at your topic. Just continue to ask questions. The questions themselves, pieces of the questions or the questions entirely, can be used as key terms or keywords that you can use or hashtags that you can use for your search. Remember, when you're searching for information, you usually won't get a lot of good stuff if you just type in your whole topic there. You're going to have to look at pieces of it to find tangential sources that may help you understand more about your topic if you're doing something fairly original, or situate yourself. So just asking these basic first level kind of questions, journalistic questions, will be able to get you those kinds of things as well. Those kinds of keywords. So what's the next level then? So if the basic level is looking at journalistic questions, then what is the next level of questioning? Well, for our research, you're going to have to consider also the history of your topic. So ask about the history. Does it fit into a larger developmental context? How did it come into being? And that helps you set up the context for it when you're talking about why you're doing it. Okay, what is its own internal history? Is there are there people researching it and there's already a historical pattern of research? How and why has a topic itself changed through time? Ask about its structure and composition. So how does it fit into the larger function as part of a larger system or problem? How does it fit together as a system by itself? Ask how your topic is categorized. So how is it grouped? That can help you find other sources that are related in its group. So is it grouped into kinds? Does your topic compare to and contrast with others like it? So if I'm going to do moral injury in education, all right, is it grouped into a kind? Yes, it's like a psychological topic, workplace topic, all that stuff. So I can look in that area to see things that could be related. If I'm looking at moral injury in education, moral injury, psychological, there's studies of that for military, there's studies for that for medicine. So that'll help me be able to get more sources. Okay, turn positive questions into negative ones, because you never know if your topic or your idea could actually be the counter argument for somebody else. So when you turn it into negative, you might end up getting more results to see what people have countered, and you can see the opposite of yours, and their arguments are actually your counter arguments. Ask what if and other speculative questions. How would things be different if your topic never existed, disappeared, or put into a new context? Okay, so that's the next level of questioning. There's also the last one, red, most important. Ask questions suggested by your sources, because that's already areas that could be further studied that are blank or that are gaps. So that could be something that you can just quickly grab onto. If a source makes a claim you think is persuasive, ask questions that might extend its reach. Ask questions that might support the claim with new evidence. Ask questions that are analogous to those sources, that the sources that have asked questions about similar topic. Analogous means that they're not doing your topic, but somehow it could be parallel to yours. Or it could be used as like a metaphor of yours, or the structure of it could be overlaid on yours, even though it's like for something else entirely, and seems like it's not related. You could use that structure possibly for yours. Ask questions that reflect disagreement. So just, be disagreeable when you're asking questions. That might get you some results too if you just play the opposite game. So once you have a bunch of questions, you really should evaluate your questions, because not all questions are equal, right? So look for questions whose answers might make you think about your topic in a new way, because chances are nobody else has thought about that in the new way, or very few people have. All right? Judge your questions. Not all of them are good. And that's okay, because your goal is to get as many questions as possible, then narrow it down to the ones you really want to answer, and those are the ones that you can use for your paper. The process of research is a messy one, and it can be very frustrating in the beginning if you're new at it. And even if you're not new at it, it could also be very frustrating as well. So you're just going to have a lot of extra results. Now, you don't necessarily have to delete them. You can put them in another file, because they could be the genesis of some other topic later on if you need it. So avoid questions where their answers are settled fact that you could just look up. If I can look it up on Wikipedia, then it's not worthy topic for me to research. It has to be something that is in it that shows some sort of deeper analysis of that topic. Deeper thinking questions leads to more interesting answers. Their answers would merely be speculative. So if it's just like, conspiracy theories, there's no proof for it. If you can't imagine finding hard data, if you really can't find hard data, then it's a question you can't settle. You need to move on. So trying to find Bigfoot and proving it, there usually isn't hard facts for that, so you need to move on. Who shot JFK? Well, I don't know if we'll ever know. So their answers are dead ends. So if their answers are just like flat, then if it's hard to see an answer that would help us think about anything larger or better, or understanding the world better, or understanding the topic better, then it's probably not worth asking. Just cross that off your list. Okay, so what then is the final, well, not maybe final, but the boss level question that must be asked, the big one? Okay, so we've looked at journalistic questions. We looked at like different kinds of speculative questions and topical, the context questions, historical questions. Then what is the boss level? The final one, the big one that must be asked and answered in your paper in order for your paper to be good. All right, that's the so what question. Beyond your interest, why should others think your question is worth asking? All right, you're going to have to justify that. Okay, why is this question important to the whole context of what everybody's doing? And that's what gives your paper uniqueness and specialness. So it's not just it's not a report. It's actually something that answers a real question that people are curious about. Okay, you're going to have to identify that. Okay, so this question connects to others who may be interested in your work, because you don't write in a vacuum. You don't talk in a vacuum, because that's just crazy. You always talk to a certain audience. You got to identify who they are and then reach them. This question puts your work into the conversation that's going on in your discipline. So it's really important because it brings it back to what everybody's talking about. Okay, so how to answer so what? There's 3 steps to it. It isn't bad. It's a little formula that might help you. Okay, step 1, state what you're writing about. Okay, I'm trying to learn about working on studying blank. So fill in that little form, right? I am trying to learn about, and then choose or learn working on, or I'm trying to studying, and then you just fill that in. What is your topic? Step number 2, state what you don't know about it. Now remember, this is like after you've asked a bunch of questions. Okay, state what you don't know about it, because I want to find out who / what / when / where / whether / why / how, or whatever. Choose one and then fill that blank in. Okay, and then lastly, state why you want your reader to know and care about it. It says, in order to help my reader understand how / why / whether blank. You decide. Once you have these 3 things down, that's your nugget right there. That's going to justify why your paper should exist. Your questions then would actually come into step 2. All those questions are going to help you answer or define step 2 for your paper. But all of this will justify and defend why your paper should exist. And with that in mind, then you can go forward to discovering more about your topic and in teaching us the cool things that you've learned.